There was a lot of talk coming into this one about your eagerness to shoot the three. Do you think maybe this game proves that there are other ways for your team to win than to jack it up from beyond the arc?
Well, no question. I think what you know about this time of year is, one, you got to play to your strengths, and two, you got to give your guys confidence. They can't be second guessing the way they play the game and the way we play. And we are one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country. And if people are going to give us inside-out rhythm threes, we're going to take them. And if they're going to commit to not letting us score around the basket, we've got two of the best scorers in the country, regardless of where. JT Toppin and Darian Williams can score at the rim, and they can make threes. But the way we played when we against Drake, they were basically like, you're not going to make threes. You're going to have to beat us inside the arc. And that's the advantage, I think, of having a great team, is when your guys understand what the game plan is, what the other team's weakness is, and then you're able to capitalize on your strengths when you know teams are going to try to take something away. And that's honestly what I do think makes our team great. You can't really take away the inside and the outside against us. You better pick, and you better keep us off, off kind of like a rhythm, if you will, in order for us to not have success.
Well, Grant, especially with those two dudes that you mentioned, Darian Williams and JT Toppin. Obviously, I don't want to be redundant, but I want to kind of echo that point you just made. Is that a case whereby you and the coaches give your team a number of different possibilities and scenarios, and then you've got a number of guys who are able to execute? Like, they can take the information they're given, they can switch up, and they can do what needs to be done. And is that a reason why this team is as successful as it is?
Definitely. There's a willingness that you and I both know that your team as a whole has to have to understand, like, this is the advantage. And then let's keep making a simple play. And when we haven't been successful, I'll give you an example. Like, if we were to throw it into JT Toppin, and then what makes him, he's a player of the year in our league, and he's our leading scorer, leading rebounder, and he's got one of the most lethal left-hand jump hooks that you can find. And so anytime a team doubles him, if he's always trying to force it, which he did on the very first possession of the game, and he dribbled a little deep and they double teamed him and he passed it out and he got it deflected against Drake. But after that, he realized they weren't doubling him. They were going to give him space, and he thought they were going to bring the double team. And then he just went to scoring. But the moment you double him, then he'll pass it. That's what I think makes a team special, is when they can recognize not only this is what our game plan is, this is what they're trying to take away, but when it does change, their willingness to not force what we do well and to allow the game to be played out in such a way that you take advantage of your whole team strengths. It just takes such an unselfishness, which not very many teams have this time of year. At this point, they're like, I just want to get mine, if you will. And our team just has never gone that route. We've always committed to trying to make the right play for what our team believes is best for us.
How long did you personally allow yourself to enjoy that big win before you started thinking about Arkansas?
Well, we had film on our computer that night, so when we landed, we flipped the script to Arkansas pretty quickly, knowing that if we're going to celebrate, let's celebrate for the month of April instead of trying to celebrate for one night in March. I will say I love my family, so we got to hang out at the house a little bit yesterday. That was awesome. But in order for us to advance and do what we need to do, I feel like the game against Arkansas had to be started right away in order for us to be prepared like we need to be.
It's a good answer. I like it. So how impressed are you with how John Calipari has transformed their season? He started 0-5 in SEC play. He's on to the Sweet 16, and they're playing pretty well right now. How much of them have you watched, and what impresses you the most about his team?
It takes such a unique group to handle, one, the losses that they started, but the injuries that they dealt with, and not just injuries to anybody, but to their best players. And I'll tell you, they're playing in such a way with such energy, and their size and their athleticism just jumps off the page immediately. And I love, just considering they have young talent that's playing, but they also have had such different lineups, and they've got to a point where they've won, and now they're getting to a point where they're adding guys back that weren't playing earlier and they're still winning. Man, it just shows you that he's got his, always, Coach Cal always does this well, but he's got his finger on the pulse of his team, and he's getting them to play together at the most important time of the year. And he's not discouraged by any kind of bad play, disappointment. It just looks like they're as resilient a group as there is in the country right now. And I have so much respect for how they're competing.